Welcome, Dr. David Klein of the Stages of Life Institute, to the show. And right now we're going to talk about expectations. There's a lot of people that have no idea what to expect from medical care, no idea what we're going to get from the government. And frankly, in a new area, and 500 families a month move to Central Florida, they have no idea what to expect as far as medical care and advances in medical care. So Dr. David Klein is right at the scale. He knows everything that's going on. So, Doctor, bring us up to date.
Well, the first thing I'd like to discuss, is how to figure out, how to make the best of what is out there. So what are your expectations? What do you believe is your right? What do you believe is your privilege? What do you think you own, and what do you think you've earned? And you'd be surprised, that much of what you earned, you don't own. Much of what you can expect to happen isn't going to happen, and that which you believe is your right and privilege is non-existent. So what do you expect out of medical care? Well, it used to be once upon a time that you'd expect that there'd be a doctor in the doctor's office. Well, that's no longer the case now, is it? Much of the time you don't see a doctor at all. You can go to the doctor's office for years and never actually see the doctor. That's a real expectation these days. It's not a particularly good piece of reality, but it happens to be the case.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot expect, a reasonable person these days can never expect necessarily to see the doctor at a doctor's office. Now, if you go to the dentist, you might see the hygienist, but you know that's what's going to happen. But you're not going to get your teeth drilled or replaced by anybody else but the dentist that's involved. That is no longer the case in medicine. But you've earned this. This is what you guys have demanded. This is what is expected now of the system, because you want it to be available to everybody and available on the cheap. Well, guess what? You got it. So expect this. Expect lower quality in the future, expect higher prices, and expect longer waits. Now, what do you have? You've got time. Oh, you've got all the time in the world now, don't you? But you really don't. You've got things you want to do. You are running out of time, because we all are. So you've got to make a decision. Do you pay or do you wait? This is what happens with the airlines. If you want to go stand in line with the cattle, you go, as I do, and you take a lot, seat in line. A line, B line, C line, call it what you want. Or you go first class. You pay the extra money. They stick you up front. You get on board quickly. They drink. They give you the best drinks, the best food, or you go back with the cattle. That's the way it's likely to be in medicine. You're not going to get Cadillac service any longer without paying for it. It is the way of the world. It doesn't happen in restaurants. It doesn't happen with plumbers, for God's sake. If you want the master plumber, he'll come at a price. If you want somebody coming at your convenience on the weekend, you're going to pay extra, and that's the way it is in medicine. So what can you do about it? Well, you can listen to the experts. You can read the folks at the local retirement community, and they'll tell you, make a long list of all the questions that you've got for the doctor, because they're going to have to sit there and listen to you ramble on. And the answer is no, they won't. They're going to listen to your top one or two concerns, and then you're done, because they've got to move on. Now, why is this happening? Back in the good old days, the doctor would sit down and talk to you for lengthy periods of time. But something very magical has happened. Certain demands have been made on the doctors that you do not understand and probably will never care to learn. But I'm going to help anyway. I'm going to try to spell it out for you. There may be 30 to 40 minutes worth of paperwork involved with every doctor's visit that you do. That's exclusive of the time that you sit in front of the doctor or the mid-level. That is the PA or nurse practitioner. 30 to 40 minutes worth of paperwork has to be filled out to satisfy government regulations as well as state and local issues, things that need to be done, regulations that must be fulfilled, or the doctor ends up being put out of business. That comes at a huge cost. So how many patients can a doctor see per hour if their office overhead is between $200 and $600? If they're getting paid $88 by Medicare, they're going to have to see 6 to 7 patients per hour just to break even. What does this mean? It means that you've got between 5 and 6 minutes to be able to convey a complicated problem to somebody who's very, very harassed and is likely to be thinking about the next patient before you're done with him or her. And that's the way that these things go. So you have to set your expectations first and foremost. Do not, for a minute, think that you're going to go in there ill-prepared and end up doing well. So what do? Get in there. Bring your medication bottles with you. This will save you time. It will prevent costly medication errors, either costly in terms of money, but also costly in terms of morbidity. That means sensitivity, cross-reactivity, and issues with the medications working against each other. You need to walk in there with whatever records that you may have handy from other doctors' offices, because this is another expectation. Doctors don't communicate anymore. They do not receive records from the hospital. They do not receive records from each other, and they're operating out there largely in the dark. That's the way it goes. You have to participate in this. Don't expect the doctor or the doctor's staff to chase down your records, because they will not do it anymore. They do not have the time. They don't have the inclination, frankly. So you need to participate in your care. The third thing is, don't confuse reading the package insert with actually having a medical degree, because that too is going to confuse things tremendously. When I first started training, you did not ever see a package insert given with a medication bottle. These were a matter of state laws. When consumers' rights groups came out, it's the patient's right to be able to read the PDR statements. The doctors went up in arms because they knew this was going to be a big problem. They lost, the patients won, and now about every third visit that I get with a patient, somebody is complaining about an imagined side effect present in the package insert. I didn't take that medication because I saw it could cause leprosy. Well, for God's sake, okay, you do not confuse medical education with reading a package insert. So you just wasted your office visit plus the last one because you read a package insert instead of understanding what the nature of the problem is. Go on the internet and read about it. So you think going to WebMD is going to teach you what your problem's all about? That's another guarantee to waste a doctor's visit. The best use for WebMD is learning what the doctor words mean. What do these medical phrases mean? So that way you can understand what's going on. But don't confuse bubblegum, okay, with filet mignon. Don't expect that what you're going to get out of that type of a site is going to actually give you anything more than a heartburn. It is useful to learn the talk. If you're watching a medical show on TV, WebMD is marvelous. But when you're looking at your own stuff, don't give it a second thought, because you're going to be causing some problems. What about waits in the doctor's office? What do you really think this is all about? Do you think it's like drive-through Wendy's, okay, where you drive up to the window, you order up a burger because they've got 16 choices, they can get it right 15 times out of 16? When you go to the doctor's office, it's not going to be a quick in and out, not if you're going to get treated properly. Again, it takes 30 to 40 minutes worth of paperwork before you end up seeing the doc. Typically, there's going to be another 15 to 20 minutes that are being done after you're gone. And guess what? Okay, there's the computer. That computer that all the doctors have now. All of this data has to be punched directly into the computer because that's federal mandate from 2008. Thank you, President Obama. He put the last nail on this coffin. So what can you expect out of the system right now? You can expect it to become more and more like the VA. Now, I was a doctor at the VA for 4 years. I can tell you a little something about it. I'm a veteran also. I can tell you a lot about that. What I will tell you is that when I was called up to the Gulf War, I kept my Blue Cross Blue Shield. Why did I do that? Because I did not want to be treated with the cattle at the VA, and I didn't want my family to be similarly treated at the clinics. So guess what? Set your expectations. Understand that your health is your single most valuable resource. It's your single most valuable asset. You're far more likely, oddly enough, to go out and buy the upgraded leather on your next car than you are to spend money on your health. People will whine, they will bitch, they will moan about spending a few $100 on their health, but they'll get that radio in that car. They're going to go ahead and get the tinted windows. They're going to get the right carpeting $6,000 or $7,000 later, but they won't take care of their health because, after all, that's another expectation, which is somebody else will pay for it. That somebody else went broke. That somebody else is no longer willing to pay for it anymore. So you're going to have to cover this. Deductibles are going up. They're not going down. Copays are going up. They're not going down. So another expectation is that you're going to have to pay more, and you're probably going to be seeing less for it.
And you can visit the Stages of Life. We hope you do. You can start your search by going to suffernomore.com, suffernomore.com. And if you're looking for nutraceuticals, getting the most for your health dollar, hey, right now. Visit stagesoflifevitamins.com, stagesoflifevitamins.com, and here is more contact information.
Our phone number is 407-679-3337, and our website is stagesoflife.net. We're located in Longwood at 1917 Booth Circle. That's right off of I-4 and 434. And let's see, our office hours are Monday through Thursday, 8 to 5. The health store that Rob mentioned with all of our nutraceuticals is open during those office hours, but we're also on the web, as I said, at stagesoflife.net, and you can purchase your nutraceuticals at your leisure, and we will ship them to you.